All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be unboxing this iPhone 17 Pro. And I think iPhones are excellent devices. Apple makes great phones, and this is no exception. I think 6.3 inches is a good compromise between having a larger screen, having something that you can fit in your pocket with good battery life. Obviously, this is not going to have as good battery life as the 17 Pro Max, but that's okay. And you get to save a little bit of money, and you save even more money if you buy it used. So let's just hop into it. You have the little pull tabs here. So you pull those open. And I mean, the box is a slim affair here, but we're gonna open it. Great presentation, just simple, minimal lettering on the back. You can definitely tell the phone is smaller than a Pro Max. This definitely is a smaller device and will probably encourage you to scroll a little bit less, but it's not a small device. One thing I will say off the bat, here's the phone. Obviously it comes with this paper covering here. Again, nice presentation. We peel that off and here is the device. I absolutely love this color and the contrast. One thing I will say is you have to get a case. Like, this phone is so slippery. If you watch my unboxing video review of the 17 Pro Max, you saw in part of the video it slipped out of my hand. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and power this thing up. And it does feel like a mid-size phone. Like, it doesn't feel super small, but it doesn't feel as large as the 6.7 inch 15 Pro Max, 14 Pro Max, 13 Pro Max. Even though it's a little bit bigger than the older iPhone. This is the way the phone looks. It's super fast. I feel like this is a good device because you can get this used even this early and get it at a fairly decent price. That's absolutely insane. No way. Yeah, I'm a whole lie. Let's continue. I was looking at this phone versus a 16 Pro Max. And it may sound crazy, but I think this is the better buy because the camera upgrades and the RAM, I think, are 100% worth it. Yes, you have a smaller display. The dynamic island does take up a bit more of the display. However, you have 4 additional gigs of RAM, and that makes a huge difference to me. You go from 8 to 12 gigs of RAM, then you have a 48 megapixel 4x optical zoom, and then you also have new front-facing camera. And I think those are worth it. Those 3 things are worth it. And then on top of that, you get a vapor chamber, and then you also get a newer processor. And this phone's gonna be much more future-proof. One thing I will say is that I've noticed with the 15 Pro Max that I have is it has slowed down since I've gotten iOS 26. I really believe iOS 26 is not as efficient and it's not as light as other software upgrades. And so I think Apple's trying to compete, kind of scrambling a little bit like they did with Apple Intelligence. And you can kind of see it in that they've had to increase RAM significantly in their phones. I mean, we're going from 6 gigs of RAM in the 14 to 3 years later, we're at 12 gigs of RAM. So that's a considerable jump. So Apple's having to make strides. And I really believe that'll make a huge difference. All right, folks, I wanted to jump in here and also acknowledge how much of a huge difference the redesign of this phone is. Not necessarily because it looks completely different. I mean, if you look closely at it, it's about 20–25% different looking. But we've been staring at the same iPhone since 2019 in the Pro and Pro Max models. So it makes a huge difference with the bold new cosmic orange color and the redesign. I didn't think it would have that much of an impact on me, but it makes me look at this phone and the Pro Max model much more favorably. So in the short time that I've used this phone, I will say this: I do not regret the trade-off of having the smaller size with the camera and the additional RAM. You can definitely tell this phone is faster than the 15 Pro Max. I don't know how much more faster it would appear to be than the 16 Pro Max, but I imagine with 4 gigs of RAM. Right now, when the phone comes out immediately, you may not be able to tell as much, but I think 6 to 12 months down the road, the difference will become more pronounced and significant. Then you also have a fresher battery in this device, and the battery life is going to be really good. Speakers and the haptics are A1. I feel like if you need better speakers than what you have on an iPhone Pro model or a Pro Max, you need to get a Bluetooth speaker. These are more than reasonable enough to put in the bathroom, like when you're taking a shower, like next to the shower, Really, you should have a Bluetooth speaker for a bathroom size, but you could have this in a bedroom, like sitting on a nightstand, playing music, and everything looks polished and premium. I'm not going to do any camera tests or anything like that. All right, so like I said, I'm not going to do a camera comparison, but I will say the upgrades are a nice touch. The selfie camera is definitely a bit better, noticeably better, and there's a lot of things we use the selfie camera for, so that's cool. Also, the 4x optical zoom, having more resolution is nice as screens get bigger and we have more higher definition screens that we're looking at. It's definitely a plus. I think down the road it'll pay dividends. It is not an 8x optical like camera in my opinion. The 8x is definitely a digital crop. It's a good crop, but not a replacement for a actual 8x optical zoom. So that's the long and short. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just like spooking out, but I felt like when I used to go in grocery stores like Walmart and Target, and you do the little price scan thing with your phone through their apps, the 14 Pro Max that I have, it wouldn't focus as fast as my 13 Pro Max. And I thought that larger sensor maybe needed a little bit more zhuzhing or just time to focus, which was kind of annoying. And I noticed that on the 17 Pro Max, so I'm curious about that on this phone. One thing that I will say about upgrading, if you have a 15 Pro Max, 16 Pro Max, I 100% would not upgrade. When they release a newer phone, that device is optimized. Obviously, it's gonna be faster, but you're not maxing the processor out or near maxing the processor out when you're scrolling through your phone and swiping through windows. And so I think that's an artificial enhancement that they put on the newer phones just to justify you buying it and make you feel like you made the right decision. So just keep that in mind. This is a really, really good phone. I would say if you're looking at this versus a 16 Pro Max, go ahead and get this, especially if you're trying to kind of lower down scrolling a little bit, slow down on scrolling, which all of us could do with less scrolling. And you're still gonna have a good media consumption experience on this device. It'll just curtail that a little bit. And the battery life, the difference between this and the 17 Pro Max is fine. Like, I hate when I watch videos and they have these massive power users and I'm like, who is so big of a power user that they're never by a charger? You're either sitting in an office, sitting on a bed, sitting on a couch, or somewhere where you're able to charge your phone. Even if you're in an airport, unless you're like all day in a desert somewhere filming, even that I could get, but then you could still do a MagSafe battery pack and be good. So that's not really an issue for me. I think this is the perfect compromise. And again, the cameras and the RAM upgrade, I think are going to pay dividends down the road. I'm sure these things will be refined and enhanced even more as we get software updates going into the next versions of the iPhone. Each version is going to be a little bit better than the other. All right, folks, thank you for watching. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the video up here. I really meant to make this video a 3-minute short, and it turned into 10 minutes just because there's so many layers and complexities to getting a new phone and opinions on new and old devices. So some things to note as I close the video out is that if you are looking at this compared to the 16 Pro Max, you're going to notice the size difference. And the only reason I keep bringing that up is because I think you can get the 16 Pro Max a little bit cheaper than you can get the 17 Pro, and you have more screen real estate. And so it's an interesting comparison. Just, I'm not going to lie to you. You will notice the difference between this and the 17 Pro Max. Obviously, I almost would say that phone is too big. I have big hands, but the 17 Pro and the 17 Pro Max are thicker phones. And so with the 6.9 inches and the thickness of the 17 Pro with a case, it's a beast to wield, honestly. The screen real estate is phenomenal, but still keep that in mind. Something else of note is the camera button. It's still gimmicky. Some people may use it and think it's cool because they have something new to kind of make the device feel fresher. It doesn't do it for me. So I think most people will kind of use it because it's there, honestly, but they really could live without it. Same thing with the action button. You could have just kept that the toggle. Unless it helps with the phone's like sturdiness or something like that, waterproofing, I really don't see why we changed that. 90% of people are probably keeping that to be the silence off button. 10% will probably remap it to a timer or something like that. But those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for a video I'm going to make comparing the 17 Pro to the 16 Pro Max. I'm going to do it on my MacBook webcam just to test it out. I think it's an interesting comparison. Watch if you want, but I will see you in the next video. Bye.